the smiles.
Good evening, everyone. The forced smiles. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the VAW show. Joined once again by my favourite co-host, Kira. Hello, how are you?
I'd be much better if we were here discussing a win. And if Rua didn't experience what she did, but we're here, so we'll dissect it all, and hopefully by the end of the show, we're really smiling and not fake smiling.
Lots to unpack this evening, and I am not impressed on plenty of accounts. So let's not beat around the bush. Let's
Weekly dance report. Shan and I weren't dancing as much as we usually were.
Local dance report. Girls did not dance.
Yeah.
No, but it's good to see you. Like, I know this is my favorite time of the week that I get to see you. So I don't know anymore, Kira. I don't know.
I'm trying to keep myself remembering that I had very low expectations for this year. And I think somewhere along the line, I lost the expectations that I came into the season with, and my expectations rose quite a bit because we were playing so much better than expected. So I think with all my anger and disappointment and frustration, yes, there's a space for that, and we have to hold that, and we have to hold standards and all that. But I think I'm just trying to remind myself that we did expect this year to be tricky, but it's a really disappointing way to end the season, albeit one game left, but it's a really disappointing way to end the season after a really exciting and happy and joyful start.
Yeah. And I think I think we had a little bit more of a higher expectation from this outcome. Like, the 32-point margin could have been a hell of a lot worse just based off the way the Bombers were playing. And we can't take anything away from them. They were great from start to finish. They executed. Their ability to kick against the wind was phenomenal. And like, massive kudos to Nat Wood, phenomenal coach. And yeah, it's just frustrating because that last quarter where we restarted to get a bit of a go, we kicked 2-1. So we won the last quarter, which frustrates me considering we were scoreless until halftime.
Yeah, we should never have been in that position. Like, scoreless until halftime.
Yeah.
Yeah. Scoreless until halftime is not okay.
No. Shout out to Ur for giving us $20. Thank you so much. You're awesome. Yeah. Look, if we're going to take a positive out of this year, we are going to get better. And it was quite windy. I was there. Like, the name Windy Hill says it all. And it was swirly, and their ability, I think in that first quarter, they kicked 2-5 with the wind. Then they kicked 1-1 in the second quarter against the wind. So being scoreless at halftime, the game was over by halftime. So, yeah. And that's annoys me.
Really halftime.
Yeah, and like, even our more like dominant players, like,
the Bombers were up. The Bombers were up by 42 points before we kicked our first score. 42 points. That is unexcusable. I don't care who you are, which team you are, which players take the field, being 42 points down before you register your first score in an AFLW game, an elite competition, not okay. Like that is, and as much as I say that, I need to remember that my standards weren't high and blah-de-la-de-la, like I've still got to hold some accountability, and that is not okay. Like you can't wait to be almost 50 points down before you're like, maybe I'll kick a score now. Which on that note, Cordner going forward,
Genius.
Okay.
No, I thought it was a really smart move. It was a smart move because Nick and I were talking. We were talking. We were in the group chat, and we didn't hate it. Like she was getting a path on Bonnie Too Good, which I'm not surprised that Bonnie kicked the first goal. Like that first passage of play, you knew the Bombers were not going to lose again. Like their loss last week to West Coast was probably as shocking as St Kilda beating Brisbane, really. And we'll get into that. But you could just tell that the Bombers were switched on from absolute get-go.
Absolutely. They took the loss from the week before really, really personally, and you could tell. Like they were not coming out to muck around. They weren't coming out to be like, let's just win by a few points. They were coming out to absolutely tear us to shreds. And that's exactly what they did.
They made a statement. And like, if you look at our numbers across the board, Abby McKay did Abby McKay things and got 27 disposals.
I thought Pound was really good.
I love Pound. She's actually a fan favourite of ours in the cheer squad. 16 disposals she got. Keely Shirar, 17. Skepper had a quiet one, 9. I thought Paige Trudgeon did really, really, really well. So did Brooke Vickers. Like, there's little key takeaways and little one-on-ones that the girls were able to win. It's just our ability to move the ball forward. And we were standing right next to where the girls went in and out. And you could see the look on Bucky's face. He didn't look impressed with what he saw. Right? And something must have been said at halftime because they came out and they played a better brand of football after halftime. But by that stage, like we'd spoken about, game was already dead and buried, right? If they had brought the energy of the last quarter in the second quarter, we'd be having a completely different conversation right now.
Spot on. Yeah.
And it's just our ability to win the ball, which we're really good at. Like, we're really good at holding the ball, controlling the ball, and winning the footy. It's just it breaks down at half forward. And it's broken down at half forward when we've won games and when we've lost games. It's just the ability of the opposition's defence to be able to win the ball back and get it out of our forward 50. The games we've won, we've managed to trap it and score. But games like that where Essendon have a really, really strong defensive unit, you've got to capitalise when you get the ball into the forward 50 against teams like that. Like North Melbourne exposed us. If we had played Melbourne or Adelaide or Brisbane, they would have completely exposed us. And that's what worries me about this weekend's game against St Kilda. This is a must-win for St Kilda to make final. So, yeah, it's a tough one. I've mathematically put us out. Like I did a predictor, and literally no scenario puts us into the 8. So this will be our last game for the year.
And to an extent, sounds silly. Obviously, 4 weeks ago, I would have really liked to have made finals. But looking at it now in the past 3 games, I'm really, really glad we aren't going to make it. Because if we scraped in by some percentage miracle and then got our pants pulled down in the first final and embarrassed ourselves, I think that could really hurt us and really hurt us moving into the preseason and, building a stronger brand for next season. I think we almost need to miss out this year just so that we are very well aware of where we stand in the competition. We are not at the moment a top 8 side, and it hurts, but it's true. So I think to an extent, I'm really glad that we aren't going to make the 8. I think we go into this week's game, which we'll get into later in the show, but we have to go into this week's show just for a bit of pride, quite literally. But, you know, I think it'll be very, very interesting to see how this week's game goes.
Yeah, agreed. And the thing is that the highest we can finish is 9th, which I didn't predict us finishing. At the start of the year, when we did our predictions, we said middle of the table, maybe like 12th to 14th or something like that. So yeah. I will take 9th as a huge win and a huge stepping stone into next year, which leads me into Kate's question. Your guess is as good as mine.
Who knows?
I don't know. Who knows? It might be roughly the same time as this year. I know there was talk of potentially lining it up with the VFLW season. I don't know. But I think the timing of this year's season was perfect. And they may run with a longer season in the years to come. That's, something that we'll have to...
With that being said, there was an article released today saying that it is mathematically impossible to hit the quota that we were speaking of maybe last week, the week before, about crowd numbers. Yeah, crowd numbers in the extended season. So we aren't going to hit that. It's impossible. We need over 1 million people to attend games or something like that. Over 1,000. No, can't be over 1,000. It's got to be over 1 million. I don't know. I can't remember. But
I think collectively average is like 5,000 per venue or something like that.
I don't know. The article said that quite literally, if you filled every stadium this week to capacity, which is obviously not going to happen, we still wouldn't hit the quota. So that's not going to happen. But hopefully somehow a meeting goes on at AFL House and we work out a way to still extend the season. But one other thing, just touching back on the game on the weekend, one other thing I want to touch on is that Peterson was managed. Now, I think you can go back and find our show when she first got injured, and we both said, don't play her. Do not play Peterson because she's not fit. And I'm sure there's more qualified people at the club, but she's not fit. And it's clear now that she's being managed when we need her. You need your best players on the park in the last round of the season. And that's what we said 4 or 5 weeks ago. We said, don't play her. Let's play her at the back end of the season when we're in the hunt for finals and we need her on the park. I don't understand.
She did have a pretty big bandage on her knee. It was like a compression bandage on her knee. So I think that her knee did look quite swollen. So I'm not surprised, having physically seen her, that they did manage her. It'd be interesting to see if they bring her back into the side this week, or they might just completely say, all right, well, we're not making finals. Go put yourself on ice, get yourself right for next year. Be interesting to see. I just want to give a shout out to Kira Fitzgerald. She's been in and out of the side. She's been in and out of the side this year, and her ability just to slot right into that team and do her job has been absolutely fantastic. I called it at the start of the season when we picked her up that she's going to be an absolute ripper, and I hope that she has earned herself a full contract for the 2024 season because she has been absolutely phenomenal. So shout out to Kira. Good job. Very proud of you.
I'm kidding.
I'm also very proud of you.
Thanks. I agree wholeheartedly. I think she's been awesome, and absolutely, if she doesn't get a full contract next season, I'll be really, really surprised. But I think it'd be almost guaranteed, surely.
Yeah, you'd want to hope so. I do want to touch on something that came out of the game, and everyone will be well aware now of what happened to Mualela Wifi on the weekend. And visibly after the game, you could see her not okay. And she is one of the most bubbly, warm, smiley people. And to see her in tears I knew something was up straight away because, like, she is the most happiest person. Like, you just cannot, like, I've never seen her not smiling. So I thought something had gone on, don't know what. My 3-year-old pointed out that Mua was sad. She thought because the Bombers won, but I just let that slide because she's 3. And I found out on Sunday night through a group text that it was actually that she was racially vilified. And I saw red. I absolutely saw red. And now that it's made public, she spent the last couple of days dealing with AFL integrity. Haven't had a chance to call her and see how she's going. Hasn't been working. Understandably, she's absolutely gutted by what's happened. I just want to put it out there that there is no place in sport, man, woman, non-binary, whoever you are, there is no place in this world for racial vilification at all. And if I find out someone I know has done it, end of friendship. Because I don't want my daughter growing up in a world where people think it's okay to make these comments. And I know you mentioned something when we were talking off air about the fact that there is no antisocial behaviour number at an AFLW game. And I just want to make it abundantly clear to anybody watching that this is not good enough in any way, shape or form.
Not at all. And I don't have anything to add. I think you've absolutely hit the nail on the head. But on that no antisocial number, I think someone said it was Mua's partner. I'm not sure, but someone did comment saying that there was no number, no sort of place to contact at a game day if this happens. If it does happen, there is security guards. Go let one of them know. It is really, really difficult. I mean, I'm not an AFL integrity officer, but I'm assuming it's really, really difficult to find a person after the matter has happened. Like, it would be really, really difficult. Just go up to a security guard, let them know what's happened. They'll sort it out. But I think, number or not, we need to put an end to this in sport, in the world, wherever it is. Like Mua, we all love her so much, but it doesn't matter if you're wearing a Carlton jumper, if you're wearing an Essendon jumper, if you're wearing a Collingwood jumper. It simply does not matter. You are a human being, and racial vilification has no place in this world. So, yeah, that's my part to it, but let's stop this right now. It should have stopped a long time ago, but clearly it has not. So let's all work together to make sure that this doesn't happen again. And if you do know someone that's making comments, like, have a friendly conversation with them, let them know that it's not okay. And, you know, I think sometimes in sport, people forget, in the world, it's never okay. But I think sport specifically, people forget that the people on the ground are human beings. They are not some character that's built up to be bigger than life. They're not invincible. They have feelings, they have emotions, and it really, really hurts. So let's end it, please.
Yeah, and the fact that 17 life bans have been given out this year should be an alarm bell enough for people. Like, that is just ridiculous. 17 people have been caught racially vilifying someone this year. Like, that is not good enough.
That's almost an entire football team.
That is literally
run out on the ground.
Yeah, 100%. And I don't want to give it any more air than it needs. But look, just if you hear it, report it. Simple. It's a simple, hear it, report it. Like, doesn't matter if you're at a men's game or a women's game or at a netball game, at a soccer game, doesn't matter where you are, you hear it, you call it out, report it. Because that's the only way people are going to stop. And I'm sick of talking about racial vilification because it just shouldn't happen.
Spot on. Should we talk about this week's game?
We should, but before we do, on a lighter note, I got into a fight with an Essendon supporter.
I didn't even know this.
No, I told you guys after the game. So I was walking along Napier Street with daughter going back to my in-laws' house, and this Essendon supporter just got on a little high horse and just started dropping F's and C's and saying all this like nasty stuff. So I just turned around and said to her, have some respect. She literally stops in the middle of the road, turns around and goes, excuse me, what do you mean have some respect? Oh, my God. And we just went back and forth for a couple of minutes. And then her family pulled her away, calling her embarrassing. And all these Essendon supporters come up to me going, we do not take responsibility for that. That is not what our football club is about. And I pissed myself laughing. But only me would get into a fight.
That is too funny. I can't actually imagine you in a fight, Shan. You were like,
what?
I just want to hug you every time I see you. I can't imagine you being like,
oh my
angry.
God. Ask Liam in the cheer squad who's in the comments. He will tell you the faces that I pull during a game in the cheer squad is hilarious. But yeah, that was my little lighthearted story just to put a cherry on the cake. Do we want to do our votes quickly before we look at
Absolutely.
Yeah, so for me, it's a no-brainer. Abby McKay gets my 3. Gabby Pound gets my 2. And I want to give a shout-out to Brie Moody because she is just an absolute machine. 30 hit-outs. Like, the service cannot get any better. And unfortunately, her service was going to the opposition. But they're my 3, 2, 1.
Lovely. I'm going to give 3 to Cordner. I think if we didn't have Cordner in our forward line, we probably would be even more angry than we are right now. So 3 Cordner, 2 McKay, and 1 Pound.
Beautiful. So just the same honour, 1 different. But yeah, no. I think that out of that, that's all we can really say, to be honest. Let's turn our attention now to the Pride game this weekend. We finished off our season against St Kilda at home, 1:00 on Sunday. Head-to-head, we have won the last 4 encounters against St Kilda by, it looks like...
quite a bit.
Yeah, 21, 24, 46 was our first encounter in round 7 of the first half of 2022, and ironically, we played them in round 7 again at the second half of round of the 2022 season, beat them by 27 points. They had a huge win on the weekend. I was watching the score of this game while I was at ours, and they held Brisbane scoreless in the first quarter. Brisbane.
Yep.
Incredible. Yeah. They kicked 4 goals to 4 in that last quarter. And players for me to watch, by the looks of things, Jamie Lambert. We know how good Jamie Lambert is, just from her Collingwood days. Georgia Patrikios is another one that really good off the halfback line in midfield. Who's this one? Is it Smith? Oh, yeah. Smith, another one. Wardlaw, another one. Wardlaw, another one. I think it's going to be a very, very different game. Very different.
I might tip against us for the first time this year. I think absolutely Cordner goes forward. If she doesn't start forward, I'll be very surprised.
Her marking ability is fantastic. Didn't realise her goal sense was so good.
Me neither.
No, but if you're going to make changes, if you're going to trial things,
it's now.
Why not in this game? Look, St Kilda need to win this game to make finals. We've got nothing to lose here. So let's just leave it all out on the park. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. It's also Pride round, so let's play with a lot of pride on the weekend. I think that's absolutely something we can do. I'm not confident that we'll get the win, but I'm confident that we can sit here next Wednesday and say, yeah, we lost, but proud of what they put out on the table.
Yeah, and that's kind of what I want. Just wanted to bring to light this. I saw a photo yesterday on the Carlton socials with Brie, and I'm not sure who the St Kilda player was, can't remember. But My goodness.
It's bad.
Like when ours is all navy with the pride colours, but theirs is black with the pride colours, and the black and the navy look very similar. Very similar. And I'm just like, surely the AFL can't have approved that.
Surely they're both not. There's got to be something going on, surely, because it's really bad. I want to see if I can bring it up and like show it somehow.
It's bad. Like I'm like, how do you approve a jumper, or if you've approved them separately? But surely they saw the photo of the two of them together. Like I've never seen a clash so bad. Like St Kilda, yes, will be wearing white shorts, but the turnover rate's going to be insane.
I know. Oh, yeah. It's very
yeah.
There's just a lot of black and colour going on.
Yeah, look. I don't know. Did St Kilda wear theirs last week?
I'm
not sure, Michael. I'd have to go back and have a look at the replay against Brisbane, but surely I know Essendon wore theirs last week because they made their pride round against us and we didn't wear it. We wore our white. So
St Kilda did wear it last week.
So maybe they won't wear it this week.
Maybe they won't. Fingers crossed, because otherwise it's going to be a disaster.
I don't know. I love our jumper, by the way. Just putting that out there.
Same. I do wonder why they don't just make, like, why we have to wear it another round if it clashes, and why they don't just design a clash pride jumper. Good. Same as NAIDOC week. Like, I don't understand why they just wear it in a different week instead of just designing one that doesn't clash. That's never made sense to me.
Yeah. It will clash badly, Kate. But, like, anyway, I just think that, it's going to clash badly. I don't know. But going back to the footy, I just think that Nick Del Santo's got them really well drilled this year. And I think we're in the same spot they were 2 years ago. Young list, up and coming, not really making an impact, really starting to see them make an impact in competition now. Really looking forward to the game. I know we're not going to go down without a fight, which we, in all honesty, we haven't really gone and just laid down in any of the games that we've played this year. Like, we haven't just let them blow it out.
No. Which is the good thing. We've always come out fighting in the second half or the last quarter, but at least we haven't just laid down and let them completely kill us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like that practice match against Melbourne. That was bad. I don't want to relive that day. But looking forward to seeing who comes in and who comes out. I know teams will be, or the squad will be released. I think it's Friday, and then they'll announce the full team on Saturday. I think that's how that works with the women as well. But it'll be interesting to see who comes in and out of the side. I'm really, really looking forward to the end of the season. I think the girls have gotten to the point now where I think they know they're not going to make it. So I just don't want them to put the cue in the rack too early.
Yeah. I think legs are getting sore. Minds are getting tired. Yeah. I think as much as we want a longer season, I think right now we're probably thankful for the shorter season, because it probably wouldn't get better from here. It'd probably get worse, to be honest.
Yeah, and looking at the standard of the top four, I think I watched that North Melbourne. I did watch North Melbourne on the weekend against Adelaide, and that game was phenomenal. Adelaide won by 3 points with like less than a minute to go, or a minute to go. Like, North Melbourne led all day. And do yourselves a favour, if you want to watch good quality women's football, go back and watch the replay of Adelaide North Melbourne.
Yeah, absolutely. Hopefully next Wednesday we can be like, watch the St Kilda Carlton game.
Let's hope so. But if you want to watch good quality football and to see a glimpse of what finals are going to look like, the standard across the board this year has gone to another level. No one can sit here and say that women's football is down here in terms of standards. It's well above now. And it's something to strive for in the off season. We go out, we look for young players. We go out and see who we can poach from somewhere else. I mean, clubs have done it. And they've just absolutely just changed the game. So I'm looking forward to seeing how we finish the year. I'm going to say St Kilda by 15 points.
Do I do it? I haven't tipped against us all season.
I'm doing it.
Just know that I really, really, really don't want to tip us. But I just can't do it. I can't rule my streak. I'm going to tip us by 11. I can't be completely negative this episode. It's not in me. It's not in me. I've got to bring a bit of positivity to the table, Shan. Us by 11. Let's do it.
Fair enough. Okay. Saints by 15 for me. Everyone just quickly pop in your predictions for the final game of the year. Although this is the final game for the year, this is not the last time you will see Kira and I. We will be back next week to wrap up the season, go over pretty much the season as a whole. And just chat around a bit of a review just to see where we see ourselves going into 2024. But look, we will be back same day, same time. But it's good to see that everyone's putting in. Oh, see? Everyone's on your side here.
I started the positivity train. If we both went negative, everyone goes negative. We got to keep some positivity here.
Toot toot. No, I do. We do appreciate everyone continuously celebrating with us and keeping the positivity going because we sure do need it in the women's space. But look, I'm so proud of how far we've come this year. We'll touch on more about this next week. But thank you, Kira, once again for keeping me grounded in this show. I could have gone off on an absolute tangent, but just seeing your face just calmed me down. So thank you so much for that.
Thank you for saying you're proud of me, even if it wasn't me.
I'm so proud of you.
Thank you, everyone, for joining us. And as Shan said, we'll be back next week to wrap it up. So, yeah, thanks for joining us for the night.
On that note, love you all. Go the Baggers.
Go Baggers.